I'm Mrs. Gregory. I'm Mrs. Cooper.
And I'm Mr. Sustin. And we're going to talk to you today a little bit about the flipped classroom that's coming up. This is something that we've been looking for a long time, over several years. We've been developing wiki pages and our own classroom websites. All of your kids have experience with Mr. Pazzafumi and all of his digital media. And we've been looking to develop a lot of those resources for us here at the high school. Within the past year, we've discovered the flipped classroom, and it's something we've been hearing about from professional development seminars from across the country. It's emerging as a best practice of the future. It engages the students in a much more meaningful way in their education. Too many of our kids come into the building thinking that their education is something that happens to them while they sit in front of people who know more. And that's just really not the case. They need to take ownership of that and use us for the resource people we are.
So it's being used not just in schools, not just in college, but also in industry. People are being asked to do their own professional development online. So this will help prepare students, not only the ones going to college, but the ones going into any kind of industry. Our students, we found out, have a 31% rate. Of those 76% of our students who go to college, 31% of them require remediation classes. So they're going to have to be taking these classes in some way, some online, and we want to make sure that our kids are ready to enter college classes right away, not be remediated, and this is part of the way of doing that. So I did flipped classroom last year, and it was required for them in the evening to watch some videos. It did not take longer than your average amount of time for homework. And it allowed students to then come into the class and do things that needed our input rather than just watching us lecture. So they could do that at night, and then during the classroom they could do the more fun activities. It allowed us to do a lot more fun activities in class.
We're engaged in providing kids resources behind the scenes. The materials that the kids are going to be watching in place of the traditional lecture program will either be podcasts like this one, or they will be our own PowerPoint resources that are available online. They will be podcasts from other chemistry teachers from across the country, which is an interesting perspective to see that chemistry is the same here in Ohio as it is in Colorado.
In New York and around the world. So, and they're funnier than we are. Yeah. Well, we're working on it. So, you may be wondering, and we know your kids are wondering, students, because this message is for you as well. So what is it going to be like when you come to class during a flipped class experience? Well, we're not just going to, expect you to walk in the door on a Monday morning and say, okay, the test is on Friday. You need to have all this stuff done. You need to be ready and understand the material. We will have a structure for you just like we would in a typical classroom day or a classroom unit that we would prepare. We're really just changing the way the basic information and basic content is presented. So we expect to give you a checklist of assignments and activities, things that you'll be working on while you're in the class, and things that you'll be expected to do on your own time at home. Again, like Mrs. Cooper said, it's probably not going to be much more time spent at home than it would be on a typical homework assignment. The difference is that you may be going to our Moodle pages or our teacher web pages or even our YouTube sites and watching a 8 to 10 minute podcast, maybe a couple of them on the background content knowledge. Then you're going to come to class, and you may be going to a computer in the classroom and engaging in some simulations that we also have posted on our Moodle page. Or you may be working on a lab activity. You may be doing some of the inquiry activities that we've been doing a lot of in chemistry that you're already used to, where you're working with a small group of people and your teacher is there to help you when you get off track or if you're having a little trouble and so on. And as Mr. Sustin said, we're there as a resource. The kinds of things we're going to be doing in the classroom are not all that different from what we do in a typical lab classroom where you are having a laboratory experience, other than perhaps the lecture portion. we're not going to be standing up here just talking to you for a significant amount of time, like may have to happen in some other chapters. You're going to get that kind of content at home and at resources that we have developed for and found for you so that we can spend time with you helping with the homework. I know, Mr. Sustin, you've talked to your classes and mentioned to them that, you know, how many times have you been sitting at home and you got stuck on a homework problem or a lab assignment and you said, this is the next best thing to having me show up at your house at 9 o'clock in the evening to sit down at your kitchen table and help you with your homework in person.
And he'd eat a lot. So
yes. Right. So we'll be here to help you. It's not that we're just going to sit here and do nothing while you do all the work. Trust me. Behind the scenes, we've been doing a lot of work to prepare for these kinds of lessons, to prepare for these units, and we're going to be there helping you throughout the week or the unit or the lesson or even a typical day. We know from some of the comments that you guys have been making that you're a little bit concerned about that. What's that going to be like? And you have us here as resources. We want you to do well. But we're going to raise our expectations for you a little bit. Again, it's not coming to school and learning happening to you. It's going to be learning happening within you because it's your responsibility to truly understand the material. And that's what we hope for in this whole process so that you don't go to college and end up as part of the 31% of kids who have to take remedial courses before they can take the actual courses that are going to give them credit to a college degree. So we think you're going to like it. It's going to be exciting for us as teachers because it's something new for us to do as well. And we've been working pretty hard at getting these lessons put together. And anything else you guys want to add to? Thanks. Ready to flip.
I just want to stand on the stool
so
I can be taller one time.